And at that moment, a very strange looking character, a camel with 7 humps. It was a lot of water to carry. You try carry 2-liter bottles times 7 on your back. It's a lot. No. So, Camel, which was also his name, was always heavy. And he always had snot. It was a lot of snot. It's like if you leave a tap dripping. Why do I put this picture in my head? If you leave a tap dripping, then the snot is like that. Is a lot of snot. It's like all the water inside his camel humps was just slowly trickling out in snot. So Camel carried on heavily. Meantime, in the boldest forest, the brightest one, a lot like Platypus, there was the most beautiful unicorn you have ever seen. She was white and clear and rainbow and sparkle all in one. When she moved, you could see rainbows moving through her. When she lifted up her front hoofs, she would spray sparkles wherever she went. And her very sharp unique horn was spiraled in the most majestic, sharpest, brightest rainbow colors. And when she moved her horn, again, sparkles would spray everywhere. Everyone go like this. Now, Unique, which was her name, Unique was really ready for her annual walk. Every night she would fly, but once a year she would just walk. She loved the idea of walking through the forest and placing sparkles wherever she went. And when she felt like a tree needed extra love, she would just move her unique horn and sparkles would fall all over the tree, and the tree would expand into all of that love. Meantime, Dra had taken his wings and enveloped himself in a giant hug. It was lonely being Dra. I mean, think of it. If you are the biggest dragon of all time, who is going to be loving to you? So he learned he must hug himself. Give yourself a hug. Yes. He was preparing himself, looking out over the lands, checking all these interesting beings. In the forest, he could see, because a dragon has like eagle eyes on steroids. He could see some strange-looking sparkles. He could see even into the smallest cave a strange-looking movement. And then realized that was Ping. And then he saw Camel was not having a good night. Camel just wanted to eat hay. Hay? Hay? Hay. He just wanted to eat hay. Hay? Hay. So he looked around for hay, but there was no hay. Hay? So he was having a miserable night because his nose was always leaking. And no matter how many times he tried to wipe the sniffles, there was more. And there was no hay. Hey? So he found himself walking in 3 directions. And if you walk in 3 directions, where are you going? To the driveway. Okay. You have an interesting house. Your driveway is like a triangle. This is how Camel was walking. This is not a clever idea. If he knew what he was doing, withdraw, waiting, now expanding these giant big wings, preparing himself for the flight of the best meal of his entire life. His wings were expanding, his claws were sharpening on the rocks, and he was getting ready to come and eat this very simple looking camel that was not even going to run away. Please. Meantime, the tiniest little mouse. Say it again. Say it again. B had decided that tonight she would try and eat a unique fruit. Her mom had told her when she was very little that she should never ever eat that. And what happens sometimes when you're told not to do something? You do it. Why? 'Cause it's fun. Sorry, mums and dads. Well, P decided that she would eat this one little pea that was on the strange looking tree that was bright, psychedelic pink. P walked over, and just as she was about to pick it, Unique in the forest decided to walk a little faster. Her trot put sparkles everywhere, and the forest was becoming this bright, bright, bright space, even though it was such a dark night. And in that moment, a little slithering earthworm, who only came out at night, started moving into the space that was so colorful. And in that moment, one of those sparkles touched onto him, and he was instantly transformed into a strange-looking tree. An earthworm has never been a tree, and an earthworm never really moves past the earth. It is called a what? An earth, which means, where is it? Exactly. And so instantly having that amount of height meant that this strange earthworm was now looking down onto the earth. And at that moment, he could also see, because most earthworms can't actually see. And he could see right through the forest on the other side by the cave that something strange was happening. P had already taken this pink psychedelic pea and put it inside her mouth, and she was also changing. She was suddenly becoming the biggest, whitest lion you have ever seen in your entire life. She had white mane. She was now a he. She was P, the tiniest little mouse, and now she was still P, but when she tried to make her P sound, it came out like this. What? She thought inside, because inside she was still thinking like the tiniest little mouse. What has happened to me? And our earthworm tree watched as she changed again. A bright yellow rhino. Again, P was interested as to how she was going to sound. Inside, she was like, I think I've become a dinosaur. What is going on? And so she tried to speak to help, get somebody to help her, because maybe she shouldn't have eaten that strange bee. And she went, bah! Meantime, Dra was flying through the sky. He was above Camel, soaring around and around, getting ready for his prized moment. The claws were so sharp, they looked like the sharpest knives you've ever seen. He was so proud of how gorgeous his claws looked. He wasn't even looking at Camel because Camel was walking in 3 directions. It was pretty much a guarantee that no matter what he would do, he would catch Camel, so he could focus on himself, which he liked. Oh, look at these claws. I am going to put these into the camel, and I'm going to eat the camel. No, I won't. I will put them in, and then I will set the camel alight, and I will eat it roasted. So Dra was about to do his final swoop when Unique decided that that was enough walking for the night, and she would break her own rules, and tonight she would fly as well. Now, for those of you who have never seen a unicorn's wings, has anybody seen a unicorn? Some of you have, some of you haven't. So, has anybody seen at least a picture of unicorn wings? Okay. Do they look little to you? Right. They are not little. They're definitely not as big as dragons or the giant dragon wings, but they are big. And so, as she looks like she has little wings, and then at the moment that she decides she's going to fly, she extends them out, and out pop these extraordinary, totally like glass, translucent wings. And she opens them up, and she starts to fly. And as she flies, she moves her hooves so that all the sparkles are now going onto the tops of the trees. She is now above the forest, and you can imagine the amount of light that is coming now from that forest, which instantly means Camel can now see, and Camel has this brief moment that looks a lot like this. He realizes that Dra is right above him. Now, those of you who have ever seen a camel run, do you have any idea how fast this camel could run? I'm going to need somebody to show me. How fast do you think he could run? Okay, so you're going to do it for us, okay? Okay, come up here quickly. Yes. Go. I think he deserves a round of applause. What's your name?
Christian.
Okay, this is Christian. I remember you from yesterday with the hula hooping. Okay, Christian, that was on it. And that I am quite certain that Camel lost his gumboot as well, too. He was running so fast. Camel forgot about his snot. He said, it's not cool that this is my night to die. I will not let that happen. And he started running as fast as that. All of his gumboots of all 4 of his legs fell off. And he kept running. And Dra was laughing. Ha 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 ha. You think you can run from me? I am Dra, the biggest dragon in all the lands. Meantime, Unique was enjoying her flight, and she noticed what was going on. Not on this night, Dra. Not on this night, she thought. Meantime, little P, who we thought stopped transforming as a rhinoceros, had now become another dragon. P looked at these wings, and P looked at claws, and P looked into the sky and saw another dragon flying, and she thought, maybe I can fly too. But she also had to see what she sounded like, so she tried to say her name. She thought that was kind of cool, so she tried it again. And the third time, because she was so excited, when she went, fire came out. She was so excited now. She flapped these new wings. And the next thing, she lifted off into the sky. And she got so high up, she was now actually above Dra, and she was above Unique, and she was definitely above the tree earthworm and our friend Camel, who was still running! There was a trail of snot behind Camel that looked like he was a snail, except he was not slow. He was running fast. It was disgusting, and nothing wanted to be behind that trail. Except it was perfect for anybody that was following him, because no matter where he went, everybody knew where Camel was. So if Camel ran into the forest, you're literally following a trail of camel snot. And he's running, and every now and again he slides in his own snot. I'm just adding what you guys give me. That's not all from my imagination. Don't blame me.
I'm having breakfast.
I hope it's not like snot. Oh, it's not breakfast. So back to the story. Are you ready? I feel like you need to just shake off your hands, because the story is intense now, guys. Intense. And we're intense. Oh my God, where did these jokes come from? Okay, right. Everybody take a deep breath. Who wants to help me cap the story? Where are we? Yes, what's happening? Come on. Okay.
And also, maybe the dragon sees me, and then tries to get the dragon. So the dragon, and then they have to fight, and the unicorn wins because she kills the dragon.
So this is the beautiful thing of stories. She deserves a round of applause. I mean, that's some power imagination there, okay? Let's just see where we are here as well. Thank you for that, Maya, okay? You can add anything you want. If you want to add anything, you can. Okay, good. We've decided that we're going to put in a cat as well, because we just didn't have enough things going on. So that's perfect. Thank you for that. All right, everybody, take a pause. We're gonna have to go there. Are you ready, guys? We're going back into the storyland. Are you ready to submerge yourself? Here we go. So for those of you who have just arrived, the update is this. We have some very important characters in the game. First of all, we have Camel. His name is Camel, and he has what? He has a lot of snot. And then we have a dragon named Dra. Good. And then we have another dragon that was once a mouse that became a lion and then a rhino and is now a dragon named P. And we also have a earthworm that became a tree. And we are now introducing a very important part. Oh, the unicorn named Unique, who she broke her rule. She's not just walking tonight, she's also flying. And she has noticed that Dra is trying to catch the snotty dragon who's leaving a snot trail wherever he runs. Sorry, that was my brain. Snotty camel. And P, who was a mouse, who is a dragon, is now overlooking all of this, and she's kind of excited that she's seen another dragon. Okay, is everybody up to date? Here we go. Meantime, from the darkest corner of the land, in the smallest, tiniest space, is a little cat. She's not so little, but compared to a dragon, she's very little. And because we don't have a little mouse, a cat is the biggest thing in this story, okay? But if you hold this cat, it's a normal cat for you, okay? She's the smallest, but she's in the biggest thing because she is in the walking castle. So the walking castle is a castle that basically is nomadic. It's a castle that doesn't like to keep still. It's a castle that has legs. On each of the corners of the castle is 2 legs, like that, and that, and that. And then this castle, it walks around. It can even run because it has knees. So it basically has legs like that. And so this castle, it times its 8 legs, and it can tell itself in its castle mind, run! And then it will run. It can say, walk slowly, and it will walk slowly. It is a walking castle, yes. The castle, it needs a name. This is one of the traumas of this castle, because nobody ever called this castle anything except the walking castle. So you can give the castle a name.
Drama Castle.
Drama Castle. Okay, Drama Castle. Oh, so it's one word. It's Drama Castle. So say it, Drama Castle. Drama Castle. Okay, so Drama Castle was walking around, and Drama Castle was unaware that inside Drama Castle was this cat. And this cat had been eating all of the little mice in it for all time. So this cat was happy. But on this particular night, this cat had run out of mice. Meantime, Dra is flying, getting ready for the pounce. P is flying, going, look at that cute dragon.
Actually, no.
Meantime, Unique is flying with all of her sparkly wings, and all of those translucent wings are spraying sparkles wherever she goes. And she is now following the snot trail of Camel, and so is Dra. But wherever Unique flies, sparkles are falling. So wherever there was snot, there was actually a very nutritious pathway, and all these beautiful flowers are now growing out of the snot.
Going so far downhill, I'm not sure it can recover.
Finally, it reached that moment. Dra did his almighty big swoop down, claws extended. At the same time, our little pea dropped down. Our little pea dropped down to try and make friends with this special dragon. She kept thinking, cute dragon. So she's falling towards the dragon's falling towards the camel, and Unique is flying as quickly as she can into the middle of all of it. At the same time, Earthworm Tree has uprooted himself because he used to love his little mouse friend. He used to go visit her, and now he's worried that now she's going to get mixed up with the wrong kind. So he has uprooted himself, and he's walking as a walking tree in the direction now. And at the same time, the castle is heading in exactly the same direction. As the final moment happens, at the exact same moment, if you can imagine how much synchronistic timing this needed to be in this land, everything crashed into everything. Make a whole bunch of noise. I will create the picture. The way I see it, there was snot. There was flowers. There was sparkles. There were bricks everywhere. There were branches and leaves, dragon wings, bones, teeth, claws, a horn. And if you can imagine, if you've been wrestling with your family, it was all interwoven. There was unicorn wing this side, dragon wing this side, a roof this side, a window this side, a tree branch this side. Everything was in one big chaos. And in that moment, Dra and P eyes met. And Dra looked into the eyes. I don't know why the A-team came out, I'm sorry. In that moment, Dra and P's eyes locked. And it was love at first sight. P didn't know how to say, so I was a mouse once, who became a lion, who then became a rhino, and is a dragon now. But all she could think about was, he's so cute. And at that moment, Unique had found one of the camel humps, and her wing was kind of over this camel hump. Now, because she's got so much healing in her sparkles, basically what happened is all of that special healing sparkle light went into the broken hump. And in that exact moment, Camel had a dry nose. All the snot from Camel was gone. It was like the broken faucet, the broken pipe inside Camel's hump body was fixed. And Camel, for the first time in his life, smiled. If you've ever seen a camel mouth, it's an interesting smile, because there's one tooth here, and another tooth here, and one or two there. He was so happy because even though he could still be eaten, he didn't have a snotty nose anymore. And at the same time, our beautiful house that actually had just belonged to not be a walking castle anymore, really wanted to be a house, and was only left with literally just enough bricks and just one window and one door. And in that moment, the cat jumped out of the window. And the cat looked at all of this and went, and that was one of the most magical meows you have ever heard, because the moment she did that, she unraveled everything, but it had all changed. Unique had still had her sparkle wings, but because they were like glass, they had now become very, very sharp on the edges. And Dra had his big giant wings had now become a lot softer. And of course, he had discovered that in one of his wings and in his other wing, he had the ability to actually extend something like a hand. And at that moment, he found the hand of P. And they walked off, wing and wing, hand in hand, together into the rising sunrise. Oh, we have an addition. This could go into an interesting place.
The dragon found himself a human, but he still wanted to eat the camel, so he tried to eat the camel, but the unicorn stopped him by kicking him in the face.
Maya, I love your sense of humor. So the unicorn had now kicked the dragon in the face. Dra was very surprised by that because he had never received an injury. And P ran up to Dra and immediately started to try and make him feel better. And at that moment, because everybody was starting to make friends again, oops, yes, we have an addition.
And the cat was walking on the dragon's head, and he thought, what will he do? But then the dragon just fired down, and then a cluster of more cats bowed out.
What? Oh, so at that moment, all of these extra cats fell out of the roof. And the cat didn't even know that it could have had so many friends. So suddenly now it was a pride of cats walking off. And everybody in the whole community, including Dra, with a nice bruised chin, and our poor little earthworm tree that had a little bit of a broken branch, was being repaired by our camel friend, who thankfully still had his life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of this story is this. If you think you have it all handled because you're the biggest and the greatest, or if you think you shouldn't listen to mom and dad and go and have things that you're not supposed to have, and it will all work out happily ever after at the end, you're right, but still listen to mom and dad. So guys, as you experienced, this is what can happen when we can co-create the story. And this is at this moment, I'm going to ask everybody, we're going to take a very big moment. So everybody just get quiet, as quickly as quiet as possible for me. How many of you came to the pop-up theatre last night? Okay, good. How many of you were at the last show in the pop-up theatre last night? Okay, so some of you will know this. So, do any of you sometimes look at the story of our world and go, I don't like this story because there's too many weird things happening. If you think that sometimes you wish the story could be different, put up your hand. Okay, now I'm going to invite you into something, okay? Everybody close your eyes. Okay, take a moment, forget about everybody else. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Forget about everybody else for a moment. And I want you to imagine that it is a world that is sometime in our future. And they are big, big trees, like biggest trees you've ever seen in your entire life. Trees that are so, so big that even the biggest tree you've ever seen in a picture looks small compared to that. And I want you to imagine then hundreds and thousands of trees then that are the smaller trees that are with us. Imagine that. And now everybody, I want you to imagine you are those trees. So stand up and let's get our branches out and let's become human trees for a moment. Human trees.
Come on, Dag.
As human trees, I want you to stretch up. Oh! And as human trees, I want you to breathe. So let's breathe together. Now remember that as trees, what we're doing is we breathe in the stuff that isn't so nice and we breathe out good stuff. So we're going to breathe in the crazy stuff and we're going to breathe out love, okay? And breathe out love. Push it out with your hands. And now push it into the sky. And now push it into the earth. And now push it into all of your friends.